Joint Chiefs Chairman Peter Pace told a newspaper he thinks homosexual acts are, quote, immoral, and that he's all for the military's ban on openly gay men and women. And you know what? Half the country believes the same thing. A Gallup poll from last year shows 51% think homosexual relations are morally wrong. 44% say they're morally acceptable. Well, gay rights groups still want the general to apologize, but as we mentioned a little bit early on, he isn't backing down. Here's Pentagon correspondent Barbara Starr.
It came in an interview with the Chicago Tribune, and the hand grenade thrown by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Peter Pace, on the sensitive issue of gays in the military was completely unexpected.
I believe that homosexual acts between individuals are immoral, and that we should not condone immoral acts. So the don't ask, don't tell allows an individual to serve the country.
Under the policy known as Don't Ask, Don't Tell, gays and lesbians cannot openly serve their country in the military. They must hide their personal lives.
Hands, quarter turn to the right, go!
In fact, since the policy started in 1994, more than 11,000 service members have been thrown out for openly engaging in homosexual conduct or even just saying they are homosexual. General Peter Pace explained that his comments were personal, that they came from his own upbringing. But that led to ferocious criticism, not just of the policy, but the general expressing his personal moral code.
I think it is incredibly disrespectful to the tens of thousands of gay and lesbian Americans who have served their country honorably.
As criticism grew, and after talking to Defense Secretary Robert Gates, General Pace took the unusual step of putting out a statement saying, "I should have focused more on my support of the policy and less on my personal moral views." The general stopped well short of an apology. By some estimates, there are as many as 65,000 gay service members. Eric Alva lost his right leg in Iraq. Now retired, he says he wants to be known as a gay man who served his country.
The irony is that the one organization that is our shield of protection against terrorists and of hatred is the one to discriminate within its ranks.
Finally, today, Secretary Gates weighed in on the issue, saying the current law will stand.
I think personal opinion really doesn't have a place here. What's important is that we have a law, a statute that governs don't ask, don't tell.
But some are having second thoughts. Retired General John Shalikashvili, who was chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff when Don't Ask, Don't Tell began, recently wrote that he now believes gays and lesbians can be accepted by their peers in the military. In fact, a recent poll of soldiers coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan showed that about 3/4 of them were comfortable with gay men and women, but only about 1 in 4 were in favor of gays serving openly. Barbara Starr, CNN, the Pentagon.
And retired Marine Eric Alva, who we just saw in Barbara Starr's report, joins me now. Good of you to be with us tonight, sir.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you very much for having me.
Our pleasure. So you heard what General Pace had to say, equating homosexuality with immorality. You were a guy who has served his country admirably for some 13 years, lost part of his leg. Do you view yourself as an immoral person?
No, I do not, Paula. I absolutely do not.
So what is your reaction to his remarks?
You know, my reaction to his remarks was you know, shocking, and they were appalling. I mean, you know, his remarks were insensitive and disrespectful and insulting to the thousands of men and women who were serving in the military at this current time under the policy. It's funny listening to the intake of you know, Secretary of Defense and saying that it's a personal opinion that does not have a place here. It's funny he states that because then, of course, you know, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Pace, gets to state his opinion. You know, men and women aren't open about their orientation because they're following the rules and guidelines of the policy, but then you have here someone in a leadership position who, as you know, military tradition is men and women followed by leadership of example. It's a very incorrect statement to make, and it's insulting and disrespectful to the men and women who serve our country.
Do you think he owes the 65,000 gay and lesbians currently serving in the armed forces an apology?
Oh, it's beyond the 65,000 because you honestly have to think about the men and women who have brothers and sisters that may be gay or people that were adopted by, you know, a couple of the same sex. I mean, it's beyond the 65,000. He owes everyone an apology.
But as you know, there's an evangelical group today called the Biblical Family Advocates that had this to say about a potential apology, quote, "If there is any apologizing that needs to be done, it's by homosexual advocates who have drawn millions of young people, including soldiers, into a destructive, immoral, and unhealthy lifestyle." Do you have anything to apologize for?
I don't, but, you know, I like to point out that, you know, I've served my country honorably for 13 years and highly decorated, and I've paid a huge sacrifice. And, you know, people often ask me, you know, what do I think about negative criticism or people's personal views and about their own beliefs and values. And, you know, that's one of the privileges I was fighting for, freedom of speech, to have people have that freedom and privilege. You know, the only thing is, you know, I'm entitled to the same thing, and above all, probably more than a lot of people. I mean, I was fighting for the rights and the freedoms and privileges of all people in this country, not just some. And so, you know, I beg to differ with quite a bit of people that, you know, about the immorality.
Eric, I need a brief answer to this one. As you know, that people who are highly critical of gays serving in the military are very concerned about cohesion. They worry about distractions when you're on duty and the possibility of same-sex attractions. Were you ever attracted to another soldier in the field?
You know, my mission at hand was always, especially being in Iraq, was the mission at hand, what we had to do, of course, crossing the border at Kuwait into Iraq. Our first mission was, of course, the city of Basra. You know, I never took my personal life to work. My personal life was mine and that in itself. And by me serving under the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy, my mission it was always a priority to be, you know, an outstanding Marine.
So do you think the cohesion argument is a bunch of bunk?
I think it's just it's a poor excuse of an excuse of still taking rights away from people. I mean, they said the same thing when you know, blacks were integrated with whites in the military, that it would disrupt the cohesion or the structure of the military, and that went okay. And the same argument with the people, you know, stating that women did not belong in combat. There are women in combat today. Not I mean, they're there providing security patrols in Iraq. We've lost more women in this war than any other battle the country's ever been in. And women are on the front lines, and they work well hand in hand with men, and we still function well with unit cohesion and morale.
Staff Sergeant Eric Alva, really appreciate your coming in tonight for us.
Thank you very much, Paula. Thank you very much.
Good luck to you.